Greetings, happy coders, and a very Merry Christmas to you as well as we approach the end of the year. I've been working hard on some new features for AGDx. I had taken a break for a little while, but they pulled me back in. Basically, one or two people were asking me about some new features, and I decided I really ought to come back and finish some of the things that I'd promised I would. So, as you can see here, the main thing that we've got, that I'm going to show you today at least in this video, is the AY tunes, which you can now implement AY music within the game, within the editor. It's basically David Saphier's Musicizer integrated into the AGDx editor with all the code necessary to create it, to test it, and to save it as a standalone game. So, I've made this little demo. Some of you may have seen it before, but right now it doesn't have any music, so let's take a quick look at it. So we've got a very simple intro screen here where we choose our controls. We just press 1 here for keyboard in this case. Just move the cursor away there. And as you can see, we've got a very simple demo with no music at all. This actually uses one of the new templates. I've added some new templates. I'll be talking about those in another video because I need to go through those in detail. But this little creature here that you can see that's basically crawling around a wall is one of the new templates. So you'll be able to add that into a game as well easily without having to code it yourself. But today we're focusing just on the music, so let's go with that and I'll show you how we add tunes. It's a very simple, straightforward procedure. You just go to AY tunes. Currently I have no tunes, and so it goes straight into the import option. It tells me I've got 14K free, just under, and where to load the first tune, 51342. So all I have to do is just go to load binary data here, and I've got a whole range of files here. Now, this is a PT3 player, and so within the, I'll just shrink this down so you can see, within the option here, rather than supported files, you need to choose all files so that you can see PT3s here, for example. Now, if you're using Spectaculator, this isn't an option, so if you're using Spectaculator, you'd have to rename the file to a binary, and once you do that, it'll recognize it. That's why some of these here you can see are called binary, whereas some of them are PT3s. So if I just move this out, that one is a PT3, and that's the one I'm going to use. So this is by Gauguin. This is Super Mario Brothers official soundtrack, and I got this from zxart.ee. It's a great source for PT3 files. I'm sure many of you have been there. If you do use files here, make sure you get permission from the creators and make sure you give them credit. That's one of the reasons why I've done this here. So if I go into here, 51342 is where I need to load the first one. Load the binary, it's about 1.5K, in it goes. Press a key, there you go. It gives you the name and also the credit of the tune if it's held within the tune. Some people don't put that into their tunes, in which case you'd have to kind of seek them out. But in most cases with ZXArt, people are quite happy for you to download their tunes, and as long as you give them a credit and let them know, I'm sure they'll be more than happy. So, and as I said, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of tunes on there. So to test the tune, we just have to press space. And press any other key apart from space or enter to exit, just like that. And that's our first tune in place. To add another tune, we would just press I for import. And it now says that we've got 12K free, obviously, 12.5. That's because we've just imported one. And it gives us a new address. So we do the same thing again. And this time we would probably want to input something like this Mario World one here. Same principle. 1, 2. Oops, that's the size, isn't it? Be careful there. 52906. And we press a key. And that's done as well. So, and we can browse between them here easily, 1 or 2. And just press enter to go back to the main menu. Now, in terms of scripting, there are no new commands added. The only thing that's happened is there is a command called silence, and this command has been replaced with the word music. And if you want to use silence, you choose music O. So music O will cut off the AY, whereas if you choose music 1, it will play whichever tune that you've chosen. So, for example, you can see here in the restart screen, in the intro screen, I've put music 1, which is obviously our intro, and that will be the control menu, and it will play the tune in the control menu. And then in the game initialization screen, I've got music 2, which means start the in-game music. And let's take a look. If we run it, you'll see So as you saw there, you've got the intro music playing, you choose your controls, you can set up your menu there, go straight into the game, and Bob's your uncle, so to speak. There are a couple more that I've added, so let's go to add a couple more. So we, again, insert, and we'll add the, I have to check, I'm not sure of the order here, but we'll try. In fact, let's go back and see what's happening. So if it doesn't accept a tune, for example, if you try and load a binary, it will check and try to validate it to make sure that it is actually a PT3. So you can't load any old binary in; it would cause a crash. So it does have some measures to protect you. And the same thing applies here. So I think I've got here music 2, and there's a delay. That's when, so basically that's when he dies. So let's go back. The delay is just for him to, when the character dies, he does that little jump. So it's a timer so that it basically plays the tune at the right time. You'll have to figure out your own kind of code for doing those sort of things. So yeah, let's go to here. And we'll import a binary file again. Oops, just a second, I need to press I. We'll go to load binary and we'll go to here. This was a small file. Done it again, haven't I? There we go, 54695. Okay, let's hear that. In the game. There you go. So in terms of playing the tunes, you have to manage them quite carefully within the game, because once you start a tune, you then, if you want to change it to a different tune, you have to basically code it so that it lines up with whatever you're doing. But you can use things like delay and different sprites, variables, whatever you want to do really. You can control exactly what you want to do there. And a similar example of this would be with the star. So we'll add one more tune in here. Let's go to this one, I think it is. And we load it 5544. So you can load up to 16 tunes, by the way, which I think is plenty. You've got, as I said, about 14K to play with. I also have fully integrated sound effects as well, with which uses Shiru's sound effects. I've made videos about that before, and you can have music and sound effects together. In this demo, I'm only using AY, and that gives us 14K. When you use sound effects, you can have 4K for your sound effects and 10K for your music. I thought that was a pretty fair balance between the two. You can't play sound effects while music's playing, but you can have an intro tune or a tune when a character dies, and then sound effects in other parts of the game. So if you have a shooter, you can have laser guns and explosions, and then at the end of the level, you can play some music, something like that. And you could probably code it so that you could have beeper sound effects and AY music, or AY sound effects. You could give the user the choice. I know some games do that. It'd be nice to be able to do both. It is possible, but most of the PT3 files that are available to download, most of the code, most of the music that people have written uses all three channels. So if you want those tunes in your game, it's going to be very limiting in terms of what you can do with the sound effects anyway. So an alternative, if you did want a simple tune, would be to create one as an AY sound, which you can do in Shiru's editor, and then you can have that playing on a loop. So in theory it's possible, but I think it's a pretty good balance, and it does work out, and we'll take a closer look at that in another video. In the meantime, we've got this one, and if we take a look in the code here, you'll see we've got if PM equals 1 music 3, this is actually set when Mario dies. This is what I've done. I've used this setting to control various tests so that I have a delay before the character dies. Yeah. Okay. And let's take a look at the other option with the music. I think if we go down here, yeah, here you go. So detect an object. Its object equals a 4, music 4, and then we've got a parameter here, 200. So parameter B is being used to time the star. Just try and keep the pointer out of the way for you there. But yeah, parameter A is being used to set for when the character dies, to trigger some events that we want to happen, and then, oops, just a second. Let's go back. Not very good at this, am I? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm a coder and not a gamer. But seriously though, yeah, you could see there's a couple of little bugs there when you pick up the star, but it more or less works, and it is really only just done to showcase the AY music and how it works. And as you can see, we've got the tunes here, and if we want to, you can easily press the other key that we can use. You can just press D, and you can press delete, and you can remove a tune like that. And yeah, so you can edit them, change the order if you remove a tune that you've added by mistake, and figure it out that way. Okay, so I guess that is pretty much it for this video. I'm going to do a couple more videos we do have, as I mentioned, some new templates which I can give you a shot at here. You can see, well, I'll have to pick an empty slot, won't I? So yeah, you can see we've added a few here: crawler, dropper, faller, and Pac-Man. So take a look at those in another video, and the AY music as well. I suppose the one thing that I could show you as a last sort of demonstration would be how we make a standalone tap. So it's very straightforward. You basically just go to save, press G to save here. Actually, what we need to do first is go to media, tape, and clear. So we've got a blank tape to work with. Extra data is another feature that is more or less been implemented. I'll show that at another time. This allows you to use the extra 6K that's within the editor. We'll choose yes for a 1 to 8K save, and we'll choose yes for a loading screen. Loading screens work differently now. Basically what we do is it says load screen, press any key, and we can load a screenshot from here. For example, this one, SCR files, it's compatible with. You can save them in that format on ZX Paintbrush, or you can save them from an emulator. And there is our file. This is also taken from ZX Art. Not going to be using this in the game, but it's just a demo. Once you've loaded that screen, you can see it there. You're happy, you just press a key. And that's done. So now it's saved as standalone. What we would do then is we would go tape and we would just write it. Over here, and we would create a tap file like that. Reset the machine, and we'll just go to load tape, and there you go. As you can see, we have the loading screen, and it has a pause. You're going to press a key and then the game will run. Now obviously with this game I haven't done a clear screen, I haven't done an intro screen, so the whole thing won't be quite as slick as it would be in a final finished game, but you get the idea. If I press a key, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's leave it there, I think. I'll be back, as I said, with a couple more videos showing some of the more other features. And as always, happy coding. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.